Hello and welcome to The Silver Lining, the weekly geekly talk show where we discuss any number of topics that may have come up during the week with a little bit of an audio hiccup there. I am your host, Uncle Silver, aka Silver Greg, aka Greg, whatever you're comfortable calling me. And welcome to you, my co-host, The Chat. Always a fantastic time having everybody here. Sorry about the doubled up audio. They have this new layout for you know what, because I'm a goofball. I'm on the wrong window. I was on my channel window, and what was happening was I have the stream previewing, so you were hearing the stream, and then you were hearing me actually playing everything, and then you were hearing the stream. So I apologize for that. We are live, yeah. Okay. That face post. Ooh, is that 60 frames per second on your camera? It should be. You all tell me. It says that I'm at 60 frames per second. But hello everybody. Who do we got? Bert, AGM, Ryan. What is going on? I don't know. It's been a weird week. I don't know about anybody else. It has been a very strange week for me. A weird feeling, you know what I mean? Like things are off. Things are always off, but I don't know. Christmas, it kind of puts this weird spin on everything. You know what I mean? Like everybody's in kind of a mood, and then some people. Like I posted on Twitter earlier about how. One of the things I hate about the Christmas season is that everybody's moods are extreme. You know, they go to higher extremes. You know, nice people are so nice. You know, there's so much more nice than usual. And then people who are in a bad mood it's just so much worse. And I don't know, it's kind of feeling. I know I'm very much like that. Like in any, you know, I've been dealing with a lot lately, and all of those things are like. At the same time that they're magnified, like everything feels worse, the good things feel better. You know what it's so weird. You know, I've been watching some stuff and trying to listen to music and stuff, and it all feels much better than it usually does. But at the same time, there's all this other stuff going on. And then Christmas, of course, is just always Christmas. I guess that's the whole thing about Christmas. It magnifies the mood. You know what I mean? Like I said, if people who are in a good feeling or in a better feeling, people who are in a bad situation are feeling way worse. John Poncho, Spectre, what is going on? Hero Hyrule, what's happening? In this season, you're either ready to get chocolate for everybody or my heart can change by 3 sizes in the holidays. I should go see a doctor. Yes, an enlarged heart is a serious medical condition, and I am concerned for the Grinch's health. But no, it's been a week. You know what I mean? It's been strange. I've been trying to watch some things. I've been playing Indivisible, which is a terrific game. I'm pretty sure I'm near the end. The game, unfortunately, I can tell that they did something that I don't like, which is they had stretch goals for story elements. They had some stretch goals, and the idea was when they met them, they were going to be alternate endings or extra bits of story and all. The problem is the whole game is still designed with the idea that those goals were going to be met, and then they weren't. So now I'm playing the game, and I won't give any spoilers. But I'm playing the game and I'm getting Indivisible, Spectre. What I'm getting is I'm wrapping up storylines in areas, and it's clearly not the good version. You know what I mean? Like something bad will happen, and they'll say, "Oh, well, they'll just have to sort of deal with it." And you can tell, like, okay, if they had met the stretch goals, there would have been alternate pathways to fulfill this and get to a better ending. But they're not in the game, so it doesn't work. You know, so it blatantly feels like these giant story holes are missing, and it feels like what's happening is that I'm playing a game where I don't like what I'm doing. You know, it's I'll be very vague. This is a little bit of a spoiler, but this is very vague, so you won't actually know what's going on. There's a point where you're trying to do something, and then there's a character who wants to stop you, and they think they're doing the right thing by trying to stop you. You think you're doing the right thing by fulfilling this other task, and after you have fulfilled the task, even after you fulfill the task, some of your characters are saying like, I don't know if that's what we should have done. So you, the player, are like, I feel like there should have been something else there, but they didn't give me any other choice. Like, there were no other options. I had explored the whole map. There was nothing else there. So I went on. Before I left the area, this other character comes up and says, oh, you did this thing. I'm going to make you pay for it. And then you fight them and you kill them. And then that's it. And it's like, that feels like that was the wrong thing to do, but there's no other option. There's no way to back out of the fight. There are no paths you can take. There are no dialogue boxes to pick so that you can try and figure out what you were supposed to say to them. It forces you down these paths that you can tell were not going to be the good ending. Got to write presents for my family members. Some really bad fights with my family during the holidays. I've been trying hard to believe. Yeah, family's kind of difficult. Oh, the Grinch cannot die. Just be rebooted. Good things don't always soften the bad things, or vice versa. Yeah, absolutely. But hello, everybody else. I'm Michael Vile Jones, Fox, Phil. What's going on? Everyone wanted a Zelda Maker. Nintendo gave us Adventure of Link Maker. I still need to get back to Indivisible in the beginning of the game. Keep playing it. It's a good game. It just, I feel like those branching paths should have been mandatory. No reason to lock it behind a pay goal during development. Green Soul, I would say that you should have developed the game to have the best ending, and then if you met the branching path goals, then you go back and you add in these other things. Like since we didn't get branching paths, the game that we should have gotten should have been the good ending version of the game, and I feel like that's not what's about to happen. And I'll be honest, if we get the good ending, because I obviously haven't finished it yet. I think I'm at the end of the game. If you get the good ending at the end of the game and everything is fine and hunky-dory and everybody's happy, it's going to feel like BS, because the stuff that you have done up to this point does not feel like the good ending. Structurally, the game is great. The game is fantastic. Otherwise, it controls very well. I had a massive frame stutter at one part of the game, but everything else ran perfectly smooth, and I'm playing it on PS4, obviously. It's a great game. It's just, there are these sort of things that kind of take you out of it, and you're just like, was that right? Was that correct? And then I look back, it's like, there's no other choice unless they make you play through the game again somehow, and then they change things there. I know somebody said that they were possibly, if they meet goals later, they were possibly going to release DLC, but I don't know. I don't think this is DLC. This is something that you should have to DLC. You have to play the game yourself. I bought the game for $20. It was on sale at GameStop, so I think I'd be more upset if I paid $40 for it. But at $20, I'm okay with some of these things, and it's just story elements. Like I said, the gameplay's fine, but it does kind of hurt it. It does kind of hurt it for me. So it's a better Telltale. I never played the Telltale games, so I'm not too familiar with that. So it was advertised to be more than... Well, no, Spectre, it was... What they advertised was like any Kickstarter. If we make these goals, you'll get this. If we make these goals, you'll get this. They just didn't get the goals for multiple pathways and multiple endings. But they left the multiple pathways in there. They left the intention of multiple pathways in there. But they didn't put them, so it's just one linear path. But the linear path doesn't feel positive. It's difficult to explain. Like, what I explained was actually really probably one of the good examples of it, where just you feel like you're doing bad things and that there should have been a better way to do them, but there's only one way to do everything, so it's making the ending kind of unsatisfying. Not to mention the main character's getting on my nerves. She's getting really annoying. Thankfully, Indivisible is a really cheap game. Remember, well, it was only cheap because it was on sale. That's the thing. It's a $40 game otherwise, so that's a little bit. Yeah. Oh boy, another Final Fantasy 15 where it released now and make you start over because we added extra. Hey, you know what, Dragoon? At least it's an indie developer. Final Fantasy 15 is a AAA game. That's a AAA company. There's no reason that sort of thing should happen in a game like that. In an indie game, you kind of expect it. The story isn't a solid pathway to the end and has to break away, and it couldn't. Yeah. My big thing this week is getting a new light bulb. Oh yeah. I saw you were posting about that. Yeah, brighter is always kind of better, and you never really think about it. Ajna, Ajna is the main character's name. I all of that stuff that I'm talking about, where I don't like the decisions that are being made, but you don't have a choice. They're being made because the character is a bit of a hothead and not clueless, but like, let's go fight that guy, even though that guy is clearly baiting you into a trap. And those are the kind of thing, and like every once in a while they'll even have one of the other characters say like, I don't think this is a good idea, and then they'll do it anyway. And I don't like stupid main characters, and I don't like careless main characters, and that's what she comes across as. She comes across as the angry hothead who is going to get lured into doing everything wrong because she's too stupid to not take 2 minutes and look around and say, oh, this is kind of a problem. Yeah, very thick-headed. The Naruto effect. Yeah, it's a good game though. It's a good game. I hate to rag on it like that because it is a very good game. It just, it's a huge fundamental flaw. But yeah, so I've been doing that. I've been trying to watch some shows. I didn't watch any anime this week. I'll tell you what I did watch. I watched season 4 of She-Ra on Netflix. That's a great show. That's a fantastic show. Season 1 was pretty decent. Season 2 was okay. Season 2 and Season 3 felt clearly like they were one season that was split in half. Season 4 is complete. It's one full-size season. Great stuff happening in that season. Lots of cool stuff. Fantastic character development. The show is going in terrific places. The show is going in places that the original She-Ra would never have been able to go. There was never enough character development in the original show for any of the stuff that's happening now to have ever happened believably. I just couldn't get over how She-Ra felt. Just another Avatar, Last Airbender and preview. It takes getting used to, just because it does come across as a bit simplistic, but the character development is phenomenal in that show. Like I said, it's like nothing that the original show ever was. And I'm not a huge fan of the She-Ra design. I like the Aurora. I like her design, but I don't like the She-Ra design. I don't like the hair. I don't like that it's like like a Caesar cut, like all close cut until it gets under the headband, and then it's all crazy. It's all hair. It's like, because I know that when it first came out, people were like, "Oh, she's wearing shorts." I don't care about that. I mean, it's a teenager. It's a young teenager. So I'm not gonna sit here and argue. What kind of creepo would sit there and argue that the young teenage character is wearing shorts instead of a skirt? Like, what kind of a cringy weirdo are you? But I didn't like the hair of the design. But beyond that, all of the designs for the other characters are fantastic. Like I said, the character development is remarkable. Um, I watched Voltron when it first came out. It's all right. It's okay. I don't know. It's okay, but I couldn't stick with it, and I never really had any urge to go back with it. So that's got to say something. Yeah, it's still waiting for Castlevania Season 3. When I eventually get the game, I can expect to have amazing gameplay and variable story for Indivisible. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I like shirts. They're comfy and easy to wear. Yeah. Oh, and I watched. Somebody lent me their Disney Plus, and I was going to wait to watch it, but I have access to Disney Plus. I had to watch it. I watched the first 5 episodes. There's only 5 episodes up of The Mandalorian. That's a good show. That's a really good show. There is still, I have spoken. There are still some questions that I have about the show. I think for the most part we know, but there are 2 things that are in conflict with the timeline. Now, I'm gonna try not to spoil anything. I'm not gonna say anything specific. My biggest question was that I didn't know where the timeline was. They talk about the Empire being gone, and it looks like this is between episodes 6 and 7. My issue is there's not a guarantee, and we have this character. Everybody has seen the Baby Yoda. Everybody has seen Baby Yoda. The problem is that Baby Yoda is a misnomer, which is to say that that's not a correct thing to be calling it. We don't have a name for Yoda's race. This is not Yoda. It is a baby of the new of that race. But it is not Yoda. Everybody's just calling it Baby Yoda because they don't know what else to call it. But it's not actually Yoda. So that seems to be what was throwing me off. But so it seems to be that this takes place between episodes 6 and 7. I'm very interested to see. The last episode ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. What I like about it being between episodes 6 and 7 is that we can see anybody. You know, I know it's out there. I know it's a wild thing. But for all we know, we could see Luke at this point. Empire's gone. He did his thing that he had to do. Realistically, we can see a lot of these characters from the original trilogy because it is not that long after these things have happened. So we don't know how these characters are going to play. What I'm interested to see is if any elements of this show make it into the movie, make it into episode 9, which is only a couple weeks away. Yeah, Ryan, I wouldn't either. I like the idea of it standing on its own, but knowing that it's a possibility is always fun. I like the idea of, and we talk about this with Smash Brothers all the time. We talk about this with a lot of other things. I like the idea of leaving the door open to do a lot of different things because when people start speculating, you can go wild with the speculation. And I love it. I love doing that stuff. When they start to narrow things down to the point where, oh, well, it can only really be one of 2 things, that's kind of boring to me. You know, because then when one of those 2 things happens, we say, yeah, it was either going to be that or the other thing. You know, you need to keep your options as broad as possible in order to have those moments where you say, oh, wow, I knew that anything could have happened, but I didn't think that was going to happen. You know, I would rather they not show up, but it is canon. My understanding is that they still kept it canon that Boba Fett survived the pit of Carthun. Oh my god, I'm being a bad Star Wars fan and I don't remember it. The Sarlacc pit. So what would happen if Boba Fett showed up? You send the Sarlacc pit. Well, it's the Sarlacc pit was the creature. But the actual area of the desert, it was the pit of Carthun or something like that. They could easily say, hey, to I didn't even know. Hero in the expanded universe, and this is why I say that I think that they kept it that way. In the expanded universe, they said that he used his jetpack to fly out of the Sarlacc pit, which works. It's fine. It's a bit ridiculous, but at the same time, it's a jetpack. It's what they're for. We know that they use them to fly. We saw that in episode 2 that they use them to fly, so it makes sense. It's not like Darth Maul robot legs. Darth Maul robot legs is insane. But him flying out of the Sarlacc pit with a jetpack, it's extremely reasonable. But you could easily argue, hey, you send the Mandalorian to catch a Mandalorian, and you have Boba Fett in the show. And I know that riding on the coattails of the original trilogy would kind of hurt a little bit, but at the same time, how cool. Press play to Jason in the hunt with the tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. Oh boy, I love some Star Trek Wars. How much of the new DuckTales reboot does it have? I haven't even watched the DuckTales show yet. Boba Fett would be fine, I think, because they haven't used, but yeah, that's the thing. They haven't used Boba Fett for anything. Let's be honest. Boba Fett wasn't really used that much in the original trilogy. Boba Fett is that character that just kind of stood in the background and everybody saw, and they're like, oh man, oh, look at all these things happening. But who's that guy in the background? And then everybody loved him for it. You know what I mean? Like he did a couple of things. He had like 4 lines in all of Star Wars, and people love him, And so it would be great to see that character get fleshed out a little bit more. He's got a cool design, neat jetpack. He's got the rocket on his back. Well, no, his jetpack did not have the rocket. Django's had the rocket. I don't know. I think it would be cool to introduce him as a villain character who eventually, over a couple of seasons, becomes the good guy. They sort of introduce him as the sort of anti-hero. Didn't George Lucas say that he regret not using Boba Fett that much? Oh, I don't know. Are we going to talk about Death Stranding? Lizard, we talked about the nominations before. So we're not going to talk about the nominations, but we are going to talk about just, speculation and stuff. I first appeared in an animated short in the holiday special. He was that cool kid with the sunglasses that girls fall in love with, even though all he does is stupid Johnny Bravo poses. So Bert, Johnny Bravo, basically. Yeah, anti-hero I can see. He's just a bounty hunter, but it works. Somebody asked earlier if I get a Metroid vibe from the show. No, I don't get a Metroid vibe from the show because the show is about more than bounty hunting. I get the idea. It's a bounty hunter. He finds a baby, and then that's
your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
P1Air14. Thank you so much for the follow. I know it's supposed to be player 14, but I'm gonna call you P1Air because that's how it's spelled. So yeah, I don't totally get a Metro vibe. I'll be honest, when you mix space and there's a sort of Western kind of thing to it. You know what I mean? The last episode 5, was called The Gunslinger. There's this sort of Western feel to it, like out in the Old West. And that, when you mix that with space, I think Firefly, and I think Cowboy Bebop. Sorry, British people. I didn't mean to do this to you. And I did it, and I'm still doing it. Or UK, my UK. Yeah, I keep doing that to you, and I'm sorry. Yeah, and that's it. In Latimer, that's sort of the thing. Metroid itself isn't really about bounty hunting, but the Mandalorian isn't about bounty hunting. It's sort of like Metroid in that he's a bounty hunter, but he gets mixed up in something, and then the bounty hunting kind of stops. Damn it, Greg, so offensive. Cowboy Bebop is best space western. See, buddy, I'm gonna put you up here, and you're gonna walk in front of monitors. That's what you're gonna do. Here, let's lay you down, and then pet you here. There we go. Meow. There you go. But yeah, it's a great show. It's if you plan on trying out Disney Plus, go ahead and watch it. Be warned that they're doing every episode once a week, and it's like late Thursday that they're doing the episode. So basically, I'm watching it on Friday. But there's only 8 episodes altogether, and there's already 5 up. So give it a couple of weeks, and then try out your Disney Plus so that you can watch all of The Mandalorian at once. I'll be honest, it's also weird having access to Star Wars and Marvel movies anytime I want. I haven't started watching anything else, though. I didn't start watching the Disney afternoon stuff. Only a couple of those shows I was really, really into. If I'm gonna binge watch anything, it's gonna be the new DuckTales show, Star versus the Forces of Evil. I know a lot of people were telling me to watch that. I want to catch up on the Marvel movies I missed. I actually missed, and I know it's the worst one, Thor: Dark World. I never actually watched it, so I want to watch that. And I didn't watch Captain Marvel, so I wouldn't mind watching both of those just to get them out of the way. Yeah, Star versus the Forces of Evil is really good. And X-Men. Oh, and Gargoyles. X-Men and Gargoyles. I would like to watch those. I want to watch X-Men because I remember all of that stuff about the episodes being aired out of order. So I don't remember that because I just wasn't watching it that much. So I want to watch that. And then I remember hearing that season 5 was like atrocious. So I kind of want to watch that. Those are the 2 worst ones. See, and Ryan, I liked Iron Man 2. I actually liked that movie. I don't think it was the best, but I liked that movie. I thought that movie. See, Iron Man 2 and 3. Yeah, hold on. There we go. Let me slow things up a bit. Iron Man 2 and 3 were always sort of harped on, and I didn't think they were that bad. Good to be back for a Silver Lining. Rocky Bear, thank you so much for the 20 bits. God forbid I get enough recommendations for Klaus. What about the 90s Spider-Man cartoon? I watched it, but I've never had so much like hardcore nostalgia for it. That's like, oh my god, I have access to it. All I remember is Spider-Man. Like, okay, it's not the best intro. It's no X-Men intro. Iron Man 3 is the one with the kid, the one with the multiple suits, the one with rescue where Pepper wears the rescue suit. Yeah, you got to make your words count. But yeah, I like those movies. I thought that they were good. I don't know, worst Marvel movies. Incredible Hulk. Hulk does count because it technically came after Iron Man 1, so it counts. And again, it wasn't an awful movie. It just was very, 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 very blah. See, that's tough because with most of the Marvel movies, I feel like I'm not picking the worst. I feel like I'm picking the least best. All I remember from the Spider-Man series when he transformed into a giant tarantula. Oh yeah, I remember that. That's right. Wasn't Iron Man 3 directed by one of the characters in Predator? Shane Black. Was it Shane Black? It might have been Shane Black. Shane Black, who I believe wrote Predator. If that's who we're thinking of. If I'm thinking of the right person. Do you hear they're going to put Crisis Comics for purchase because of the TV event? Really? Interesting. Yeah, I don't. the Crisis on Infinite Earth thing, I'm waiting for it to all be out, and I got to figure out how I'm going to watch it. I thought Incredible Hulk was really good. If anything, I would say Avengers 2. Yes, I would say Avengers 2 is one of the weaker movies. And again, it was not a bad movie. It's just when you look at everything else that was around it, it was definitely a weaker movie. Yeah, the MCU is solid at worst. The movies aren't bad, but some offer better times than others. Yeah. Oh yeah, Crisis starts on Sunday. Did Incredible Hulk have Tony Stark? Yeah, at the end of it, at the very, very end of it, he mentioned, like, I heard you got a Hulk problem or something like that, and that was the first indication that there was. See, when it first happened, a lot of people didn't think that it was going to be some sort of shared universe. They just assumed, oh, they're going to do a crossover movie. It was going to be Iron Man versus the Hulk. And I don't think anybody predicted that it was going to be as big as this. It was, everybody just kind of thought, oh, they're going to do a crossover movie. That's kind of cool. We don't really see that kind of thing anymore. But yeah, so this week has been, I've been trying to catch up on some stuff, and it's been okay. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, some good programs. But we're going to get into our first topic here, because I feel like these topics are going to run long. There are those who prefer Iron Man 3 over 1. I can see it. I don't know if I do, but I can see it for very specific reasons. Not the least of which,
bloody hell,
is Trevor Slattery.